Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Monica. I am doing International Relations degree. My presentation today will focus on the role of bureaucracy in the Japanese political system to answer the questions who has been influenced in the policy making process. Japanese political party had begun to revive after the occupation began. The Japanese Socialist Party and the Japanese Communist Party reinformed themselves, as well as the Liberal Party and the Japan Progressive Party. The first post-war elections were held in 1948, and the Liberal Party's Vice President Yoshida Shigeru became Prime Minister. During 1947 election, anti-Yoshida men led the Liberal Party and joined with the Progressive Party to form the new Democratic Party. This gave a plurality to the Japan Socialist Party, which was allowed to form a cabinet and last less than a year. Later, the Socialist Party steadily declined in its electoral successes. After a short time of Democratic Party administration, Yoshida returned in late 1948 and continued to serve as Prime Minister until 1954. Even before Japan regained full authority, the government had rehabilitated nearly 80,000 people who had been removed, many of whom returned to their former political and government positions. Continual fragmentation of parties and a succession of minority governments led conservative forces to merge the Liberal Party with the Japan Democratic Party to form the Liberal Democratic Party in November 1955. This is also called the 1955 system. This party continuously held power from 1955 through 1993, except for a short time when it was replaced by a new minority government. LDP leadership was drawn from politicians who had seen Japan through the defeat and occupation. It attracted former bureaucrats, local politicians, businessmen, journalists, other professionals, farmers, and university graduates. In order to answer the question who really holds power in Japan, how are decisions made during the period from 1955 to 1993, I will briefly summarize basic points regarding Japanese political institutions, and then analyze the relationship between Japanese cabinet and bureaucracy. Japan's system of government includes parliament, bicameral, and non-federal. The National Diet is Japan's bicameral legislature. It is composed of a lower house called the House of Representatives and an upper house called the House of Councillors. Both houses of the Diet are directly elected under parallel voting system. In addition to passing laws, the Diet is formally responsible for selecting the Prime Minister. The Diet was first convened as the Imperial Diet in 1889 as a result of adopting the Meiji Constitution. The Diet took its current form in 1947 according to the adoption of post-war constitution, and is considered by the Constitution to be the highest organ of state power. House of Councillors and House of Representatives are forced to consist of elected members and represent the interests of all the people. Bicameral was set up to avoid king's dictatorship. So House of Representatives has been built up to represent citizens' profit, and House of Councillors represent aristocrats and king's benefits. Because of that, the councillors of upper house were selected by a non-democratic, no-electoral and highest ruler nominated way, and the members of lower house were elected by general. Although House of Councillors and House of Representatives have different rules and standards, in Japan before 1993, both houses have been dominated by the same political party. Cabinet is the executive department of Parliament. Premier, the head of cabinet, should be signed by lower house. The members of cabinet are selected from councillors by premier. There are some differences between cabinet and bureaucracy. If cabinet is the executive department of Parliament, bureaucracy is the standing body, nominally led by cabinet, for laws and policies execution. If ministers selected by election, bureaucrats are selected by a political way. Ever since the emergence of the conservative parties in 1955, the Japanese elections were consistently dominated by the LDP until 1993. During that period, Japan's party system is a predominant party system. The change of inter-party balance influenced the appearance of parliaments and especially the cabinet. That make cabinets so frequently be reshuffled, and the terms of parliaments are also so short. As the inter-party balance changes, Parliament might make non-confidence motions towards incumbent cabinet, and the cabinet could dissolve Parliament and ask for a new election to let people judge their performance within 10 days. That makes Japan's political system in this time very unstable. As a predominant party system, LDP's politicians have to set up their own backup organization. However, Japanese premiers and their cabinets had no guarantee of their positions. They located in the centre of intra-party competition and faced an unclear future. On this condition, we could not suppose them to effectively control Japanese bureaucracy. Japan's bureaucracy is a kind of independent and powerful part in its political system. No matter who becomes the premier or minister of a cabinet, political bureaucrats are doing the same daily work. Their work contents are never changed, so is their power. Accompanied with Japanese cabinet short occupation, bureaucrats almost survive from party politics, because all of these things in touch with bureaucracies have been assured. Under a political system that individual politicians are more important than their parties, cabinets largely reflect the internal politics of the ruling party, and that is very unstable. Ministers do not have enough time to set up their control of bureaucrats. As ministers are running for short-time benefit, they do not want to conflict with their department member, so they try to avoid imposing any reforms that would arouse bureaucrats' hostility. Furthermore, a minister does not have a lot of chance to replace his premier. That is what makes Japan's bureaucracy so independent and powerful. During liberal democratic party's ruling period, due to no pressure of losing the next election, MPs usually change their attitudes to incumbency. This weakened the stability of a cabinet and the power of a premier. On that condition, a cooperant intra-party system has been built up, and politicians compromise with each other. A production of compromise is that a Japanese premier cannot control his party efficiently. Before 1993, as LDP always won elections, the importance of a premier was so low. A premier in Japan also do not have rights to ask for a new election. This means his influence on his party is very small. A premier that cannot control his party effectively, how could his cabinet perfectly control bureaucracy? Therefore, we can easily understand why during 1955 to 2010, Japan has 28 different premiers. This factor impacts the relationship between cabinet and bureaucracy not so good. Without a durable cabinet, especially in a predominant party system, bureaucrats do not dare to show their loyalty to any minister. They have to work neutrally and independently. And ministers do not have enough time to set up or rely their own management style either. They have to fit themselves into pre-existing environment. We can also clearly see that Japanese party leaders now are more likely representative of their party. The relation between leaders and their parties is cooperation. However, bureaucracy in Japan has neither incentives nor needs to set up a close relation with a cabinet because they have been selected by a political way. Therefore, according to laws, they're supposed to act apolitically. No matter how a cabinet changes, the meaning for them is the same. After 1993, a two-party system began to reform. The stability of cabinet would increase. Premiers' control of their party would also grow strongly. In the near future, Japanese bureaucrats would lose their independence step by step, and the influence from a cabinet would be increased significantly. To sum up and answer the question, who really controlled the country in Japan from 1955 to 1993, I can say that Japan's bureaucracy is a kind of independent and powerful part in its political system. Furthermore, Japan's bureaucracies are the most powerful in the world because they have more power than other Japanese government institutions. There are a lot of factors that make this phenomenon appear, and the main reason is the country's party system. In Japan, before 1993, there was a predominant party system. The interaction between the bureaucracy, political parties, individual politicians, and parliaments is a complex process, thus including many interdependent relationships. Due to this reason, Japan's bureaucracies play a very important role which can control the political system and heavily get involved in the policy-making process. However, nowadays in Japan, aim to keep controlling their governments, MPs from Premier's party have to follow Premier leading more smoothly, and this would increase bigger Premier's power and his cabinet stability. Thank you for listening.